The member for Kennedy.
Treasurer, in 30 years, per capita net national income has risen only 130%, yet housing and motor vehicle prices have risen over 600% and food over 230%. Affordable living now being beyond many Australians. Wouldn't the deregulation of building codes and land subdivisions, along with the capping down to 100%, the current unconscionable farm gate to family markup of 300% on food, wouldn't these measures stop 30% of our families collapsing into poverty?
The Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for Kennedy for his question, and I understand he's talking about cost of living, and it is true that a lot of Australians are doing it tough right now, particularly as a consequence of the largest economic shock since the Great Depression. But I can inform the member, and indeed the House, that household disposable income is up 5.8% since the start of the pandemic, Mr Speaker. And this is because we as a government have put around $300 billion of support into the economy, direct economic support for families and for businesses. And in the budget this year, I announced a number of other measures that go to the heart of cost of living. Indeed, since the pandemic, we have cut taxes by about $24 billion for Australians, Mr Speaker. But in the budget, we had $9.7 billion in childcare support. We, in the budget, had $9 billion for an additional support for JobSeeker, with the single largest increase since 1986, Mr Speaker. We had about $9 billion for homelessness and for housing, programs like Home Builder, but also Commonwealth Rent Assistance, which is so important. And so these programs are supporting the economy and supporting households who, as the member points out, are doing it very tough. But we can only invest in these measures when we have a strong economy. And I can tell the House that Australia is one of only 9 countries in the world to have a AAA credit rating from the 3 leading credit rating agencies. And we know that when we came to government, unemployment was at 5.7%. Today, it's 4.6%, with unemployment gone below 5% for the first time in a decade. So I say to the honourable member, we as a government are committed to driving down taxes, to put more money into people's pockets, and to try to ease the cost of living with the investments that we're making in the energy sector, which has seen energy prices come down by around 10% from their peak. So whether it's childcare, whether it's housing, whether it's JobSeeker support for those who are out of work, whether it's our energy investments, we are focused on driving down the cost of living for all Australians.
Yeah.